from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to Tobago, good morning Trinidad, those of you in the Caribbean, and those of you viewing us on the live, good morning. Julian, yes. It is Thursday, yes, the day before Friday.
You know, in the mix, that kind of lineup for the week, and we always welcome this latter part of the week indeed. All right, Ria, what's been happening in the mix?
Not much has been happening. You know, I'm just looking at the weather, the Bell Garden, that Bad Rock area. I really advise. So there is a detour sign placed at Kendall for drivers coming further east. There is also one placed at the bottom of Zion Hill for drivers coming from the west into east. But drivers are still taking their chances passing through. And I'm seeing here, we've seen some rainfall yesterday and overnight, and I wouldn't take the chance.
It's not advisable. It's not advisable at all.
So, you know, Longbed is the road for me through the Bell Garden Village. Is the road I would suggest that road users pass for those vehicles that are accessible. There's some that are larger, yes, and you may have to, but it's a sort of drive at your own risk kind of thing. So, you know, I really want to urge caution, road users. Please avoid having to use that Bad Rock.
And you know, when you talk about the other extreme in terms of the Crown Point area, I've seen where there have been releases coming out from the division. You know, that long challenge that has been, so to speak, as I used to call it, the pool there. Yeah. On that stretch heading into the airport, in the vicinity of the hotel there and so on, where they have installed pumps. And you know, at a point you saw some elements of the water returning, and you wondered, all right, this is probably still a work in progress and it hasn't been solved yet. And then you see an unfortunate kind of release that comes out that says there has been sabotage, you know, and that concerns me greatly. Yeah. In terms of, at the end of the day, yes, I mean, you want to be able to raise concerns, but if there's any truth to that at all, it's very disappointing to think that here in Tobago, even at the risk of creating or continuing a challenge, that we would have elements, you know, being sabotaged and so on. And it takes me back to some of the challenges even faced at the national level when we had the issues with the scrap iron dealers and so on.
Right.
Removing things accordingly. And my hope ultimately is that we can really not get to that point in the Tobago space. It should ultimately be about finding solutions for us to move forward. So, you know, any at all that there is the circumstance where persons have indeed, you know, had some form of sabotage, please, folks, it doesn't work to benefit the majority or the vast majority under the circumstances. Let's find other ways to redirect our energies and efforts here within the Tobago space. All right, I really want us to be oriented in such a manner where we are seeking out solutions in terms of moving things along.
Definitely, Julian. I hear you loud and clear.
All right, viewers, at this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria. And here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, the 24th of November, 2022. Police arrest and charge 2 people for the murder of SRP Kyle Lashley. 24-year-old Akin George from Mount St. George and 28-year-old Kadisha Hearn from Carenage appeared before the Scarborough Magistrates Court yesterday to answer charges for the murder. George also faced charges for having a stolen vehicle in his possession. The arrest was made following an investigation led by an interagency task force. On November 12th, SRP Lashley was with some friends on Providence Road when a black Kia Cerato pulled up. 2 men exited the vehicle, one taking Lashley's gold chain and the other shooting him before re-entering the vehicle and speeding away. Additionally, Tobagonians expressed outrage after news spread that Kemba Duncan and Ashel Legal were fired from the coaching and managing positions on the national netball team. Both women are residents of Tobago and were responsible for for qualifying the Calypso Girls for the 2023 Netball World Cup and for successful performances at the recently held Commonwealth Games. The letter of termination from the Trinidad and Tobago Netball Association cited shortcomings resulting in communication issues and inadequate off-court relational skills as reason for the dismissal. And finally, Karen Nunes Teixeira failed to get a court order to stall the PNM internal elections over changes to the electoral process. Nunes Teixeira is one of the candidates for the political leader of the party and was not satisfied with the 3 dates set for members to cast their ballots. On Wednesday, Justice Devendra Rampasad denied Nunes the request, stating that granting interim relief would increase the risk of prejudice within the party. Rampasad also noted that the application was void of evidence, saying that an election should not be stopped or altered solely based on fear. And that is your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much there, Chanel.
Thank you, Chanel.
All right, bringing us the news in 90 seconds. I must say, on a rainy day, Chanel looking bright and sunny.
I tell you, she's brought the sunshine in.
Indeed, this morning. Really, the final story there this morning continues to capture my attention. Did she really hope to be successful at stopping the internal elections of the People's National Movement that's currently the administration and governance in Trinidad and Tobago? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's always an interesting kind of development. I too would have been pleasantly, I would have been shocked, I should say. I would have been indeed surprised if that effort was successful, any at all, in terms of seeking to put a hold or anything of the sorts in relation to the scheduled internal elections. But let's be seeing how things will turn out in terms of moving ahead and going forward.
Definitely. She tried, and Julian, she tried.
Well, indeed. All right, our viewers, we're heading straight on into our birthday celebrations. Birthday celebrations taking place today. We got some birthdays. And we get started this morning. Who do we get started with on screen with us this morning? We have Richard Marcel. Richard Marcel. We want to wish you a happy birthday, Richard Marcel. Indeed, and God's continued blessings coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
And then we've got Kipeno Duke celebrating a birthday. Kip, happy birthday going out to you and love from the Tobago Updates family.
All right, on screen with us is Kino Beard.
Kino
Beard. We're wishing you a happy birthday coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
Have a great one, Kino. Lots of love. And, we want to take the opportunity this morning to send out some prayers for a friend of mine, an employee attached to TN Tech Tobago. And this is Stanley Miller, who fell ill just a few days ago. And we are praying for recovery and speedy recovery and that all goes well. I'm really praying that he pulls through. So we send prayers to his family and really praying that he's going to pull through. We're really praying for some good news, some really good news. Someone just mentioned his name this morning and I said, what? And we're just praying for some really good news. So,
Most definitely,
yeah.
Most definitely. All right, let's just check in with some of our viewers on the live this morning. I see connecting with us. Good morning to you, Rhea Orr, Carol Fraser Davidson, Lucretia Williams, Lisa James in the mix with us this morning.
Auntie Dora Lyons.
Yes, Auntie Dora, Joyce Samuel, Gloria Sinanan, Natalie Kojo Nelson, morning, Carisha Wheeler. Good morning to each and every one of you connecting with us this morning. QK Melville, Crystal, Washington, Tor, morning to each and every one of you. Mrs. Charles out there in Bethel, morning. All right, and we want to wish each and every one of you a great day, notwithstanding the weather this morning. As Rhea would say, this is my kind of weather, cool enough. All right. Rhea, what's happening on the rundown this morning?
All right, so we start things off this morning by chatting with Dr. Faith B. Israel, who's the Secretary of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. We're going to get an update this morning on the Tobago food cards.
Yes, indeed. And we continue the conversations with Anderson Alfred, and that's Inspector for the TTPS. And we'll be chatting about Christmas safety tips and expectations for Christmas.
Okay, and then we're going to wrap things up this morning with Andra Jofield and Alicia Edwards. And we're going to be focused this morning on We Are Tobago, the road show, and they both represent the tourism agency, Tobago Tourism Agency Limited.
Yes, indeed. So we're looking forward to this morning's lineup, folks. It is Thursday, the 24th of November. Wow, by tomorrow we'll be 1 month away from Christmas.
Oh, yes.
December 25th. We're getting excited. We're getting excited in the mix as we look forward to the Christmas celebrations of 2022. All right, Ria?
That's right.
Ready for that Christmas lineup, Ria?
I think, but between now and then, we'll get it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, viewers, we want to thank you so much to each and every one of you continuing to connect with us. Those of you joining us via TV, Gael and M&E TV, and also those listeners connecting with us on the radio. And those of you joining us online, including Cindy Taylor and Pearl Duke Orr and Crystal Daniel. We want to remind you this is your opportunity to join us by sharing the live, share the live, share the live.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. It is 7:17 a.m. This Thursday morning, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. We have on a line with us this morning Dr. Faith B. Israel, Deputy Chief Secretary and Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. Good morning, Dr. Faith.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you all?
All
We're
right,
doing
fine,
well.
thank you. And how are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Can't complain at all.
All right. So this morning we're heading on into the discussions regarding the update on Tobago food cards. But just before we head on in there, we understand that the division is currently facilitating a move just for the purpose of our viewers and listeners. Can you give us an update as at this morning? When is the close dates? When will the division be moved by, etc.?
Certainly. So, yes, we are actually closed today and tomorrow, and that is the head office, which is that building right after Cost Cutters in Scarborough there. So, it's closed today and tomorrow. By Monday morning, we are hoping that everyone would be resettled in the new building, which is in Montessori Drive off of Glen Road. It's basically that brand new building opposite Cost opposite ComDev, the green building opposite ComDev. That's where we'll be moving to, and that will include, eventually, it will include everyone who was at the head office. It would include LEP, probations, mediations, and the Tobago Regional Health Authority head office.
All right. And just so that persons don't go into a state of panic, it's only that main office that will be closed today. All other arms of health and by extension, the TRHA and so continue to operate full mode.
Yes, exactly. If you go to the health centers, to the hospitals, they are functioning. It's just the head offices that are having the closure so that we could facilitate the move.
All right.
All right, very happy to hear. Now, with regards, Dr. Faith, with regards the food cards, the Tobago food cards, what's been happening on that front?
Certainly. So yesterday I got several calls and messages from individuals who were indicating that the minority leader was on a Facebook Live. In essence, screaming and crying that we, Faith and Sally and others, were taking away food cards from people and preventing hungry people from getting food cards and so forth. Of course, I understand that individuals who need food cards should be accommodated as soon as possible. So I actually messaged him. As a matter of fact, when I looked at my phone, I recognized that he had messaged me. I responded to him indicating, please let me know what's happening. Who are the individuals? Let me do a follow-up with my people, and we'll get it resolved in that regard. But I think I wanted to let Tobagonians know that there are several things happening that we need to be very clear about. Those of us who may have the red food card, those red food cards, which we would call now the permanent food cards, because you get them for a year, 2 years, 3 years. There are people who've had them for years. Those food cards are actually managed and distributed by the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services. Those are made to those cards. Those are Ministry of Social Development cards that are being distributed. It's also important to note that at the beginning of this year, apparently, the Ministry of Social Development made a policy decision that if you were getting another kind of grant from them, so if you were getting your old age pension, or if you were getting a disability grant, or any of those other types of services from the ministry, and you were also getting a food card, they were stopping the food card. So there were a lot of people at the beginning of the year who were stating that they were going to the grocery or whatever and their food card was stopped. That is because the ministry made that policy decision to stop the food cards at the beginning of the year. That had nothing to do with the Tobago House of Assembly. The Tobago House of Assembly, though, does have an emergency food card, and that food card is actually green. It is green. That is the food card that you can go to, what used to be Victor E. Bruce. You would go to Victor E. Bruce because it was once under finance. That is actually the food card that as soon as Assemblyman Farley Augustine became Secretary of Finance, he realized that these food cards had no reason being at finance, and they came over to the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. So those food cards are administered by the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. But it's important to know that those food cards, the green ones, are emergency food cards. Emergency meaning you've had a sudden change in your life situation and we need to get you food soon, quick. Initially, those cards were done month to month. So you would get it for a month. It was preloaded with $500. You would get it for a month. And at the end of the month, you would have to come back into what was finance at that time to do a full reassessment to determine if you can get the card for another month. Since we've come in, we've decided to change our policy and to allow individuals who may be in need to have it for up to 3 months. And we've also changed the policy to allow individual families, depending on the size of the family, to actually get more than one of those $500 food cards. So if you have a big family, you could get, maybe 1,000 or 1,500, depending on the size of your family and the situation. So I just wanted to make that very, very clear that those issues that seem to be popping up continually are issues with the red food cards. And to be honest, when I finally got hold of the minority leader, I got the list of names of the two individuals that he had spoken about, that he was talking about, when I asked my social workers and so forth for an update on those clients, it really appeared that they would not qualify for the emergency food card, which is why they were not given the emergency food card. One already had social support from other areas, which would disqualify you. The other, apparently that person had actually been receiving food cards for years, and they decided to stop it even before this administration got into power in the CHA in December. So, you know, I just needed to Tobagonians to be very, very clear, and that's why we did the live yesterday, to be very, very clear, because we do not want people going away with the impression that we are being malicious or anything like that, when in fact there are actual rules and regulations and policies that govern how these things function.
Dr. Faith, tell us, what's the requirements for the emergency food cards being issued by the Division of Health, the Tobago House of Assembly?
So that is pretty simple. When you think of an emergency, you may think of a situation where, you know, we've had all of these floods and landslides, and we've had to move people out of their homes quickly, relocate them, and so forth. Those individuals may not have been able to walk with the whole kitchen full of food. So in a situation like that, they may get a food card. Somebody whose house just burnt down and we need to relocate them quickly. Someone who is in a domestic violence situation, for example, and, you know, we need to protect that woman or that family who is picking up and running, and we're helping them to get rental assistance, and because we are protecting them. Those are examples of an emergency, and that is why it's very clear. Even if you look at the card, it specifically says emergency food card, because those are the situations we're looking at.
All right.
Is there a monitoring process in place? And I heard what you said with coming from the Ministry of Food Production. You mentioned as well the green cards being the ones from the THA. Is there a monitoring process with these cards? A person still in possession of cards from years gone by? How are these cards monitored?
So the Ministry of Social Development, they have their internal system. As I said, that's a ministry function. We do not know. We do not have control of those. The green cards, they are actually, so the green cards are the THA cards. They are actually preloaded with $500. So once you use the $500, you actually need to come back and get a new card. So you may be in possession of the card, but once the $500 is used up, that's it. It will not work again. And as a matter of fact, one of the things we recognize is that we were spending so much money to purchase the hard cards that it was almost costing more for the card than the money on the card. So we've actually been in talks with different financial institutions and so forth recently to figure out how we can move away from having a physical card in the first place and use other IT or use other technologies to provide that service to people.
All right. So one of the follow-up questions for me, Dr. Faith, would be how do persons in Tobago access those permanent food cards that's available through the ministry? Because it is often said that level of support, and I think we've heard ministers speak to none shall be left behind, Trinidad and Tobago. Is there any kind of existing relationship with the Tobago House of Assembly and the division to assist with facilitating, or how do those cards reach the persons in Tobago wanting to access the permanent cards?
Those cards, there's actually an office. The Ministry of Social Development and Family Services has an office in Tobago. It is in Candy, upstairs Tobago Waters, which is basically opposite, Penny Staples in Candy. So there's actually an office in Tobago where you go, you sign up the forms. There are Tobagonians who are working there. They come home by you and do whatever assessment they need to do and so forth. There's a means test that needs to be done. So that is done from the Tobago office, and they make their determination using the ministry's policies as to whether you qualify for the permanent quote-unquote food card or not.
All right, a couple of questions coming in here on the live. One of them, Dr. Faith, what about the person who had a permanent food card that expired a couple of years ago? Can they reapply?
I don't see why not. If your circumstance has not gotten better, or if it has gotten worse, or it has changed for whatever reason, you should be able to go back and reapply. Of course, you reapplying does not automatically mean you will get approved. Again, you will have to go through their process. But I don't see why you can't reapply.
Second question, why can't they reload the card instead of changing it?
That was when we came in December, that is what we met. We met thousands of cards are sitting there that were preloaded, that were sitting there. Let me put this in context. Remember, during the election period, there was a whole bacchanal with a particular secretary at that time talking about walking around with 400 cards in their back pocket. Those are the same cards that secretary was talking about. So we have just come into the administration, and we are now just trying to make use of the cards that were already purchased and paid for and sitting there and distributing them in an appropriate manner. That is why we've gotten to the point now where we have said to the social workers working in that area, let us know how many of those cards are still sitting there, so that when those cards run out, when we are done with the hard cards, we will then transfer over to the new electronic system that we are working on right now. So we won't have to pay for those cards again. They've already been paid for. They are just sitting there.
Dr. Faye, just for quick clarity, by way of that same confusion that occurred within the election season, what's the access method or methods of this current administration for cards? Can persons go to all assemblymen and get cards, all secretaries and get cards? What's the current method or methods being utilized by this Tobago House of Assembly administration for the dissemination of these emergency cards?
Well, coming out of that, to be honest, that whole bacchanal's card affair, those of us who are on this side, you can still go to electoral district offices and get the form for sitting Goldsboro. The ladies and gentlemen sitting there, working there, could help you fill out the form. If you want, you could bring the form to Scarborough yourself, or they can send it for you. The difference, though, is that before, what the office used to do with the cards is they used to give the assemblymen the cards to distribute to the clients. We do not do that at all. We facilitate with helping fill out the form. There are some assemblymen who say they're not even helping with that because they got bitten so bad with it the last time that they're not even going down that road. But we can facilitate. You go through the process where the social workers or the social support staff who are in my head office, they do the assessment. If you don't want to go through any kind of assemblyman or anything like that at all, you can call WhatsApp or WhatsApp message 683-8347. That is our generic family help hotline at the division, 683-8347, and they'll walk you through the process of getting the card using that number.
Okay, one of our viewers on the live is asking, in regards to the Roxborough Hospital and the extended 7 p.m. time, individuals are going for treatment and they're being told to come the next day because the files are blocked. This should be looked into as we gravitate to equipping the East with developed health care. Any comment on that?
I'm actually glad that person indicated such. I would have them look at it. But remember, I keep saying that we're still at the stage where we have a Roxborough Health facility, and we are expanding as we are going along. We still have issues with our medical records and the processes for the medical records. As a matter of fact, one of the meetings, my technical staff at the TRHA and at the division, the IT staff, have actually started having meetings and looking at how we can digitize even the medical records, so it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you have access to the system, to the digital system, you will have access to the medical record. That is something that will happen shortly. That is, well, let me not say shortly because that may give the impression it's happening next week, but that is something that we are rolling out as well. But no, I will chat with the medical chief of staff at the Roxborough Hospital to see what's happening with the files specifically as it relates to A&E of their 7 to 7, but it's a working process. But I want to thank the person for letting me know that. We'll definitely look into it.
All right, okay. Dr. Fee, just before we wrap this morning's interview, very quickly, in your capacity as Deputy Chief Secretary, what can we look forward to today at today's sitting carded to take place in the House?
Well, today's sitting, we are going to go through very quickly some of the priorities that the Tobago House of Assembly has generally in each of the divisions, given that we did not get as much money as we thought we would from the Ministry of Finance in Trinidad. So you would hear each of the secretaries and possibly some of the assistant secretaries, I can't remember what the schedule looks like, talk about what will be the priority projects coming out of each division in this fiscal year. So you know what to look for within the next 12 months from us, and you know how to measure our success within the next 12 months.
All right. Can we also look forward to some updates on the DCS portfolio that I know is being reviewed?
You may not get that just yet because I know the Chief Secretary wants to deal with that specifically at our 1 year mark or so. So I don't envision us speaking about that just yet today.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Faith V. Israel, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, and Deputy Chief Secretary within the Tobago House of Assembly. All right, really interesting developments there in terms of the clarity being brought about. I saw the live as well, the minority leader, very passionate in terms of raising the concerns with the two families. And, you know, prior to this interview, I really thought that the permanent food cards were also being administered in Tobago through the division on behalf of the ministry. But that's a clear distinction being made. The Tobago House of Assembly, as indicated by Dr. Faith, is dealing exclusively with the emergency food cards, I want to assume funded and managed by the Tobago House of Assembly, while the Ministry of Social Development, and that office being located opposite Penny Savers there, upstairs Tobago Water, they are dealing directly with the permanent food cards. Interesting clarification being brought about there.
Definitely. So again on the live here, I'm seeing Patricia Corbing asking, my mother is sick, can I get a food card for her? And just to remind you here that you can visit Dr. Faith's office, as she mentioned, in the East. We're going to confirm the numbers again for you, maybe during the next segment after the break this morning. We will confirm the numbers for you to contact the office in the East.
So it's 683-8347. You can contact that number, as Dr. Faith would have indicated, 683-8347, and then you get a determination there as to whether or not you'd qualify for the emergency or whether you need to seek some assistance by way of the permanent food card through the ministry. We've got one birthday very quickly before we head on out to the break that would have been missed, celebrating today. Akian Duke, we want to wish you a happy birthday, and God's continued blessings are coming from my family and the entire Tobago Updates family. Wishing you a happy birthday. Take some time out to have some fun, and I dare say take it into the weekend. It's Thursday.
After all.
I almost said it's Friday. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support, and for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. This is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Is the affordable critical illness plan you need. Cover expenses up to $1 million. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
I want to welcome Assemblyman Joel Sampson, a guy who a lot of us know fondly by Notsi.
The Assistant Secretaries for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, and Miss Megan Morrison. And the Assistant Secretary in Health, Wellness and Social Protection, Mr. Sonny Craig.
Beneath the surface, we get to hear candid views from every assemblyman, every area representative, every councillor and presiding officer. Their accomplishments, their challenges, and their goals for 2023. Beneath the Surface, weekdays from 8 a.m. on Good Morning Tobago. with Candice Jackson and Chanel Felix, only on Tobago Updates.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates morning show. We are chatting this morning with Inspector of TTPS Chauvin Road Police Station, Anderson Alfred. This morning, the inspectors on the program as we chat on the TTPS's Christmas safety tips as well as the expectations for Christmas. But we're going to get some more information from him as well with regards a couple other issues. Good morning. Welcome to Inspector Alfred.
Good morning to you as well, and thank you for having me this morning.
It's good to have you in the program. Let's talk a little bit here. We saw recently Senior Superintendent Junior Benjamin was here with us in Tobago. He is now on leave.
Short vacation.
Short vacation. Will he be returning to Tobago, or is that it? Is there going to be a replacement, and who?
That I cannot say at this time if he'll be returning, but I can say he's sitting in his seat now is the new acting senior superintendent, Mr. Michael Jackman. He's here in Tobago and he's in control of the division at this time.
And how long would that be for?
Oh, that is an administrative answer. I don't have
above your pay grade.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. With regards to the replacement for the ACP, who would it be?
Well, we already have Mr. Glenn Dillon in that chair.
Okay.
He's a native of Tobago as well, and he's familiar with the Tobago space.
Okay, and how long is that? Again, above your pay grade? Again, above your pay grade?
Way above.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit here about, what we've been seeing as well within Tobago. We've been seeing a lot of little fights, little things happening around. We saw a few more. We saw the murder of
Officer
PC
Lashley.
Kyle Lashley. Question: within the Tobago space, the question is, how was it that two persons were able to have been held within mere weeks of PC Kyle Lashley's shooting, and there are some outstanding situations out there, so to speak, outstanding situations, and there's been no resolve, there's been no persons held to account for these incidences?
I can't answer that. Well, every investigation, every crime spins on its own axis, meaning that each situation, each crime reported is unique in nature. And I must say that homicide was not the only homicide solved in Tobago Division for this year or for the past few years. There was a year in 2020 where we had 8 murders and all 8 were solved.
Okay.
So we have an excellent track record in Tobago Division, the Homicide Bureau in Tobago. They have an excellent record in astute investigations and the high level of solve rate. What we see happening is that even before this unfortunate homicide, we in Tobago Division, we have a mantra called teamwork makes the dream work. And what we put into gear was that teamwork. All units, all branches, and all sections in Tobago Division, and not forgetting the helpful community partnership which we fostered, all went together to solve most of the serious crime, including the last one that we had, the murder of our colleague.
Okay, and that was very unfortunate. And again, we extend condolences to the family. That must not have been an easy situation. All right, let me ask you here with regards, just switching gears here in the interest of time, switching gears to the safety tips for the Christmas season. We're just about a month away. Today's the 24th of November, so we're talking about a month of shopping. What should shoppers be aware of? What should business owners be aware of?
Okay, great. So we are looking at the persons within the Tobago community to be aware of their surroundings. So we look at first the personal safety, your personal safety. As you mentioned, shopping, we'll deal with that. The aspect of shopping, it starts with the individual. We expect persons who are participating or willing or wish to to do some commercial activity, to be aware of your surroundings. This is a time where there's heightened commercial activity. And as we were discussing within the police service, is that it's a time where counterfeit currency are high in demand, in use. So we expect person to be aware of the currency that you are using, to check for the safety features, because we know that shopping activity is a very busy time, and the currency can easily mingle within the regular use of your cash. So we're looking at persons be aware of your surroundings as you do cash transaction. Do not display high levels and high volumes of cash in the public. We encourage persons to use your card as much as possible. And especially when you are making ATM withdrawals, look around your surroundings. Be careful of the persons who are standing close to you or persons who are monitoring your activity. So we expect persons to be aware of their transaction where they are going and the times they do their activities.
Let me ask you here, with regards the counterfeit, how can we know the real from the counterfeit?
Oh, great. So there are certain security features on your currency that you must look at. On the central bank's website or in any commercial business places, there are highlights where they show certain features that you must look for. So we encourage persons to be aware and make themselves acquainted with these safety features. Also as well, the Tobago division, especially the CID department under the stewardship of Inspector Bacchus, what they have started doing is that going to these commercial business places, and they're doing lectures in relation to observing persons who are looking at other persons conducting cash transactions, to look at their personal space when they are conducting their businesses. I think they started with Republic Bank Orchestra, where they kept a wonderful lecture which was well received by persons. So the Tobago division will be going to several banks, credit unions, and other places of high cash transactions, and we will be doing a lot of lectures and discussions with the public.
With the public or with the workers, the employees?
With the workers as well. So because we know that between this time, persons are concerned about robberies.
Yes.
So we are teaching and we are lecturing to what to look for and how to observe certain activities which will indicate certain behavior that may suggest that something is suspicious about certain persons within their business space.
Now, safety is everyone's responsibility.
Yes, it is.
The use of cameras and other safety equipment, how critical is that? I mean, and are these things factored into when solving a crime?
Yes, it is. It is definitely, because we look at security features, security fixtures and fittings as an extra eye or as a guardian or a crime prevention method. Because a person will think twice before committing a certain activity if there are heightened security measures in place. So within that added feature, the Tobago division you will see for sure heightened police presence. Increased police presence is one of the tools you see over the Christmas season. There will be extra roadblocks. There will be extra raids and searches. You'll be doing a lot of breath check exercises and traffic exercises. But what we expect from the public is the public's full cooperation. There may be minimal interruption to your daily activities, but all gears towards making your space safe and making you safe as well.
All right. And I'm really happy to hear that at the end of the day, it's all about our safety, our security. All right. With regards, and what does the TTPS expect for Christmas? What are your expectations over the holidays?
Well, firstly, we expect the public's cooperation and understanding and a little patience with us. While you shop, while you enjoy your merriment, we will have your back. We will be out there looking over you, ensuring that you receive the best customer service, to ensure that your activities are not interrupted by any criminal activity as much as possible. We expect to share information with the police officers out there. If you see something, say something. Because this is a time where families gather. It's a time when persons are partying, persons are enjoying the season. But we want to have that blanket of security over Tobago. And that is what we will be doing over the Christmas season and right into the New Year as well.
Now, with the somewhat, I don't want to say increase, because I mean it has increased, but the somewhat increase in crime in Tobago, should persons be looking at acquiring personal
protection?
Personal protection.
Well, it is not a crisis state, and we have the resources necessary to ensure your safety. But as a matter of fact, related to our statistics, our detection rate for this season has risen to a 40% detection rate. But conversely, last year we were at 53%.
By this time.
However, but we have solved several serious crime, outstanding serious crime. We started off in 2021 with 644 reported serious crime. But for this year, I'm glad to say we are at 615.
Okay.
That's 19 less.
19 less.
Yes.
And I think we want to see numbers, lower numbers.
Yeah, well, the year has not finished as yet. And within the last few days, we have solved a few, but that statistics I gave you is for up to the corresponding period, the 1st of November. And we are in mid-November, well, we are almost out of November.
Right.
I'm sure that percentage will increase.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Inspector Alfred, for being on the program with us. And again, we want to remind viewers here that safety is everyone's responsibility, and it is our duty and responsibility to work. Let's work along with the police service in Tobago and not fight and kick against them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you again for being on the program with us. Viewers, lots more coming up on the program this morning, so share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground rhymes.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp at 7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers. Tobago Updates morning show. It is 7:53 a.m. and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. And Ria, who do we have up in the lineup this morning? Coming up in our next segment.
All right, so we will be chatting this morning with Alicia Edwards, and Alicia Edwards is the executive chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, or TTAL, and we're going to be focused this morning on the We Are Tobago Road Show. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning, good morning. All right, so just unmute for us, because we're not hearing you.
Yes, good morning to the viewing public.
Excellent, excellent.
Good morning.
Good morning indeed, and happy to welcome you once again here with us on the Tobago Updates morning show. So this morning, as we indicated, we're talking about the Tobago Roadshow. But just before we go in specifically to the roadshow, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Give us an overview. I know there are a number of things taking place in relation to Caribbean Tourism Month in the lineup, the roadshow being one of the main initiatives. But what else can we expect for this Caribbean Tourism Month?
Good. So we are partnering on this road. We are partnering with the Division of Tourism. On tomorrow there is a church service in Lowlands from 10 a.m. Next week we have the road show, and we also have 2 days of activities. There is an event on the 2nd, which is really a wellness event, and the Division of Tourism will be saying a little more about that.
Excellent.
All right, so we're talking tourism, in fact, Caribbean Tourism Month. How do you see Tobago, really showcasing what Tobago has to offer? I know you're heavily involved in tourism, but how do you see Tobago's product getting out there and really making it big?
The thing about it is that it's a two-way process. On the one hand, you have to do marketing to the publics and to the customers that you're trying to attract. But on the other hand, there has to be steady effort in terms of developing and improving the tourism product, and also improving the infrastructure around tourism. So it's not really just the Division of Tourism or TTAL. We need input from infrastructure, we need input from public utilities, we need input from agriculture, we need input from health, and also we need the Tobago public to join us in ensuring that the destination is ready for business.
And is the destination ready for business?
The destination is ready for business, but not on an optimal level. There's always need for improvement, but I believe in starting. I think fortune favors the brave, and it's important for us to make progress while we work towards perfection.
I like that statement. Fortune favors the brave. All right. So as we continue with the discussion, We Are Tobago Road Show. When is it carded to take place? We know that this is one of the activities being led by the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited.
Well, I want to step back a little bit and talk about the thinking behind the roadshow. You would know that one of the things that we found out the hard way during COVID is that international visitors are important, but they cannot make the tourism product all by themselves. Our borders were closed for 2 years, and that 2-year period crippled tourism stakeholders. And so as we move beyond COVID, we felt it important to go back to the drawing board and realize that we have a huge domestic market made up of Tobagonians living in Tobago, as well as a large market of Trinidadians who come to Tobago frequently. And so the overall aim of this campaign is really to reintroduce Tobago to us, reintroduce Tobago to our visitors in Trinidad, and really begin a whole process of selling ourselves to ourselves and reminding us of all the things that make Tobago beautiful. So this is just the beginning of something that will be ongoing for the agency.
All right, I see here that the roadshow has 4 aims. What are the 4 aims of this roadshow?
The roadshow has 4 branches, and within those branches, they help us to achieve the overall aims. So the first aim that we want to highlight is to talk about where to stay, our accommodation properties, the different options, different price ranges, and so on the island. So we will be exhibiting with a number of hotels, bed and breakfast, Airbnbs, etc., to familiarize the Tobago public about where they can stay when they're having a staycation. We're also very happy to have a What to Do pavilion, which is where you would be able to see and get further information about all the activities on the island, whether they're on land, whether they're in the forest, whether they're under the water, whether they're cultural and culinary activities. Those would be showcased and highlighted there. We also have a Shop Local pavilion, which is a twofold arrangement to introduce the regular Tobago person to local products with a high level of indigenous content, but also because we will have tourism business people exhibiting at the event, it will give them an opportunity to make some business to business connections. And the last pavilion in terms of our build out would be the pavilion where, or Let's Stay Connected pavilion. And this is where we would be talking about all the linkages, focusing on our partners, the Hotel Association, the Division of Tourism, the Division of Health, Customs and Excise, and all the other entities that form part of the infrastructure for tourism.
Remind us about your target audience for this roadshow in particular as you head out to the two communities within Tobago to get started.
So our target population is every Tobagonian, because we think that without understanding or realizing it, we actually participate in tourism activities. When we go to the reef, we are actually a tourist at home. When we go out to have a meal, we are actually a tourist at home. When we book a staycation or we attend a conference at a particular property in Tobago, we are engaging in tourist type activities. So it's really to bring it to the fore, to really remind us of what is there in Tobago. And also it's a dry run for us taking.
All right, we seem to have a little technical difficulties there with the connection. All right, Alicia, you're back with us?
Yes, I'm back with us. The internet is really terrible today with the weather and everything else.
Yes. All right. So if you could just recap for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, in terms of that indication, you were just about taking it on the road.
Right. So the Tobago campaign is really a dry run for us taking the campaign to Trinidad. We felt it important to start the process here and to build the rallying cry around We Are Tobago, and then take that campaign to Trinidad in January, and thereafter it will become part of an ongoing campaign by the agency to continually market the destination in the domestic space.
Tell me if are there any plans specifically, in terms of upcoming, where you utilize the opportunity by way of NGOs, groups and organizations. I belong to a number of organizations with international arms that head out on an annual basis to conferences, and so how we as individuals represent Tobago, and by extension, any plans and so to engage even at the the high school level, primary school, promoting that sense of becoming people, recognizing that we have to speak and breathe tourism in every possible way in our Tobago space?
Right, so that's a two-part question. For the time being, I know that Miss O and her team at the division, they do an excellent job with their tourism youth clubs, which is really geared at secondary school children. The agency, in recognizing that we need to sell the benefits of tourism to Tobagonians, we will be rolling out the rest of this We Are Tobago campaign in conjunction with a PR firm. So in a couple of weeks, it will be a grounds up campaign where we're actually focusing on what is tourism, how can it benefit us, how can I participate, what can I do as an average Tobagonian on the street to ensure that I play my role in tourism. And sometimes your role might just mean being polite, it might mean being knowledgeable, or it might be operating or desisting from certain activities that can cause reputational damage to the destination. So that's the first question. The second question is really about how can we use persons who are leaving Tobago to promote Tobago. So the agency has, for the time being, cooperated with all entities that reach out to us ahead of trips. So they reach out to us for promotional material, they will reach out for us for flags, they will reach out to us for other memorabilia, and we have always provided that for them. Again, we're going to have to work on tightening and improving those systems and augmenting the work that we do. But yes, we currently partner with Tobago delegations going overseas to ensure that Tobago is always represented at every possible opportunity.
And how do you plan on culminating these activities, the roadshow?
The roadshow is really the launch of what would be an ongoing campaign. So the same way that there is need to continuously remind our international audience about Tobago, its beauty, its amenities, and the opportunities for experiences there, the agency will be undertaking an ongoing domestic campaign. So we will be highlighting, not just this week and next week, but on an ongoing basis, opportunities and experiences in Tobago, places to go, things to do, activities to experience, ways that the Tobagonian can be more engaged and involved and enjoy a vacation in Tobago. Because we are one of the few islands that don't do that. When you go to Jamaica, Jamaicans vacation in Jamaica all the time. Haitians vacation in Barbados all the time. Trinidadians vacation in Trinidad all the time. And so we think that there's a need to heighten and remind people that where we are is paradise, and it's possible to step outside your door and into an environment that is just as enticing as what you would find if you get on a plane.
All right. And just to remind our viewers again, when is all of this kicking off and taking place, the locations and the times?
So the first leg of the roadshow takes place in Scarborough next week, Tuesday the 29th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Esplanade. You won't be able to miss our tents and our signage and so on. And then we move to Roxborough on the 1st of December, which is the Thursday following, and we will be at the Sid Gray Stadium.
Right. So we can certainly look forward to the excitement. All right. And you're calling on all of Tobago, Roxborough, Scarborough, and environs to come out on those days?
Yes, we want you to pop by. We'll have lots of things to do. We would have games, we would have activities. You can win prizes. Our vending pavilion has a links machine. So if you don't want to walk with cash, because I know this segment before was about crime prevention, you can swipe your card and patronize fellow Tobagonians. So there'll be lots. We have entertainment as well. So it's really a fun and educational activity with a strategic intent.
Any caterings for the children as well in the mix when coming with the family?
Oh yes, we are arranging some bouncy castle. We have a little ice cream truck and a whole host of other activities for all ages. So you're welcome just to come by and spend time with us next week.
All right, so that's the place to be. Tuesday the 29th of November and Tuesday the 1st of December. We are Tobago, the roadshow taking place there under the tagline, "Come experience something extraordinary."
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so we look forward to that experience, and we want to thank you very much, Alicia Edwards, Executive Chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, for joining us on the Tobago Updates morning show. Ria, roadshow time next week.
I tell you, and I think it's an excellent initiative, and I love how she said that this is just a trial run because they plan on taking it to Trinidad, and I dare say after Trinidad, I'm thinking the Caribbean, and then boom, we're back out there.
Yes, because I really need to see us getting involved in such a manner to be reminded that we all have a part to play. We head out with delegations, and you get the support of these entities with material and info and so to take out, and you're happy to promote all things Tobago when we're out there, and we want to see these kind of efforts happen even when we're right here in Tobago, as we welcome persons into our space. A simple welcome to the island, you bounce up on somebody along the way. It may go very far indeed. And I'm recalling this even from my very own experiences visiting a number of Caribbean islands, and people are so happy to help you, not just to get your money, but they appear genuinely happy to help you before you even spend that money in the first place.
But it's to encourage you to spend the money, and I love what you said. Welcome to Tobago, welcome to the island, and wherever you go, the taxi driver should be saying it, the gentleman who is selling fruits, hi, welcome to Tobago. It doesn't take anything from from
And I'm
us.
so happy because even
Yeah.
in engaging with Alicia here, you realize consistently that's the message that the agency is trying to push now. It's more than just about the agency or the division with responsibility
It's all of us.
for tourism. It's all of us. It's a Tobago thing as we continue to promote, so that in fact all you viewers that are tuned in and locked in out there within the diaspora, I know you are also just as much responsible for assisting us with promoting and pushing and encouraging persons to visit Tobago. To each and every one of you that continue to tune in morning after morning, we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support.
All right, and we say thank you again for joining us today, and we've got a great show planned for you tomorrow. So remember to share the live with us tomorrow. Even as we wrap things up here, we've got Tobago Notes coming up, and we head on over to GMT this morning with Chanel Felix.
Yes.
So,
and we're going to have on this morning Assemblyman Niall Tate.
All right.
All right.
Nigel
Tate. You see, I'm making the connection there with Plymouth and Signal Hill.
Yes, yes.
Nigel Tate.
The Tate guy is Nigel.
The Tate guy.
The Tate guy, that's, yeah.
Well, I should have just stick to the nickname.
All right, but Tobago, thank you for joining us. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Caribbean tourism industry has faced significant health, safety, and environmental sanitation issues, but these can be mitigated through industry-wide adoption and implementation of standards-based quality improvement approaches. Methods such as enhanced food and environmental safety training, hospitality-based health monitoring and response systems, policies, and public or private health and tourism partnerships can also be beneficial. With this in mind, the regional HSC standards of the CARFA Tourism and Health Program were developed in collaboration with the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality.
These standards are called clean and green standards. It meets regional, national, and international requirements so that you improve health safety standards in the operations of a tourism facility, whether it be a hotel or, a guest house, a tour operator event, so that, you elevate the standards so that, in essence, you're achieving and promoting and giving the consumer, the tourist, a preferred, healthier, safer option.
The CARICOM-approved Regional 7 HSC standards launched were food safety and sanitation, energy management and efficiency, water treatment and management including recreational, sewage treatment and efficiency, solid waste management, integrated pest management, and environmental management systems.
With tourism being one of the major contributors to regional economic stability, it was clearly one of CARFA's responsibilities to ensure the strongest foundation for a credible world-class CARICOM tourism product.
The HSC standards will also allow tourism facilities to obtain a higher recognition award, CARFA's THP Healthier, Safer Tourism Silver Award, once they meet the requirements of the checklist.
Tobago, through this initiative and all of our other in-train partnerships with local, regional, and international entities, stands resolutely to become a glowing example of a functional, pragmatic, well-structured, and well-institutionalized framework for these hospitality, health, safety, environmental standards. If COVID has taught us one lesson, it is that robust policies, standards, and regulations can help save lives.
Health Secretary Dr. Faith B. Israel says the interconnectedness of the stakeholders highlights the need to work together.
It is now forcing us to no longer think about what we do in silos. It is now forcing us to consider the fact that everything we do in health actually does affect either positively or negatively what we do in education, what we do in business, what we do in tourism, what we do in all of these other fields of life. Because we now need to work together to ensure that we are all safe.
Copies of the HSC standards were distributed to health and tourism officials in Tobago.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go. It's a brand new morning.
Good morning, Tobago and our wider viewing audience. I am Chanel Felix and welcome to Good Morning Tobago. Now, you guys know for the last couple of days we have been going beneath the surface with our assemblymen and our area representatives. So we have been trying to find out some of those, you know, underneath the surface questions that you, the viewers and the voters, want to know. So this morning I have with me Mr. Nigel Tate, who is the Assemblyman for Signal Hill Patience Hill, and he's also the Assistant Secretary at the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment, and Sustainable Development. Now, we look forward to an extremely interesting conversation this morning as we try to get some insight into what's happening in his area, as well as what's happening within the division. And Mr. Tate is responsible for fisheries. So the bulk of our conversation this morning is going to revolve around those particular topics. And we look forward to you guys staying tuned with us for the entire show. Now, guys, you know, it wouldn't be right if we started off and you guys didn't share the live. This is supposed to be extremely interactive. So we want to encourage you guys to like, share, and make sure and add your comments there. Put your questions for Mr. Tate. If you have something that burning question, I believe that he's poised this morning to respond and to answer. So good morning, Mr. Tate. How are you doing?
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to all those who are viewing. I'm going okay. I'm pretty okay.
Okay. Well, we always like to start off our Beneath the Surface series by going and finding out a little bit about you personally. Who is Nigel Tate? Tell us a little bit about your journey and what brought you to the point of even getting involved in politics.
Well, I'm Nigel Tate, right? I'm a humble child of God, right? I like to help people. That is me. I like to see fun, people come together and be happy, right? Well, before I get into politics, I was a Port Authority Police Corporal, which I served for almost 2 years. So serving is part of me. I'm serving people, right? And then I was recruited by the PDP to represent my area, which is Patience Hill Signal Hill, and I was successful, and here I am. Simple me.
Excellent. And I think you forgot a little part of the journey there. A lot of people know that you had a controversial thrust into the PDP because you were one of the campaign assistants for your, well, it was speculated that you worked along with your then opponent within the December 6th election, in the January election, that you were one of those persons that walked the ground in Signal Hill with the hat. Is that true?
A simple answer to that. Fake news.
Fake news, misinformation.
Fake news, misinformation. That never happened at no time.
Okay. So you never had a history of working with the PNM before entering into politics with the PDP?
I never worked with the PNM, right? I want to be truthful with my statement, right? There's no need for me to lie or beat around the bush. Yes, I used to vote for the PNM, but that was with Mr. Orville London and them days. That was a total different regime, right?
Okay.
Different total attitude of people back then. And then I just didn't like how things was going, right? And then when I listened to the PDP and the mandate, I believe I was converted, and then I started The Voice, and then I was recruited.
Okay. So were you vocal for the PNM during their time within your area? Were you a vocal PNM person in the area?
No. Based on my my how I used to work at the Port Police, I could not have really shown my affiliation that much with any political party. But yes, persons in my area know that I used to support the PNM.
Okay.
Which is truth. As I said before, I want to be as truthful as possible.
Okay, and how was that transition for you with those members of your community who had previously known you to be a strong advocate for, you know, the incumbents? How did that work out?
It was simple because basically most of the persons who actually supported the PNM back then, most of them came to me and asked me, Tate, it's time for a change, right? Tobago looking for a change. Tobago looking for a fresh air to come into Tobago. And most of the persons that was actually coming to me were persons who were part of the PNM, right? And I just tell myself, why all these people is coming to me? Why me? And then I got a dream. And then I believe that here, God is talking to me. And God is talking to me. He wants me to be on this PDP team. So I took the challenge and I was successful.
Okay, and how has that been for you thus far? You know, how do you feel about that decision that you've made? How has it been?
Well, everything in life is my friends and my executive, the PDP, excellent support from them. I'm going okay.
Excellent. And how has this new position shifted you and your perception and your vision and who you are today?
Well, it didn't really shift me as much because, as I said before, I enjoy serving people, right, from where I came from, right? I'm a community-based person, right? I'm a community activist, so to speak. So I always on the ground with my people, right? I'm involved in sports, well, basically football, which everybody basically know me from, right? I like to meet people. I like to keep like functions. Well, everybody know I demand for harvest in the area, so you know, keep like a birthday limes and things. That's just me, right? I just enjoy serving the people, right?
Okay. And how have you been able to maintain that connection with the people within your constituents while balancing being the area representative as well as the assistant secretary? How have you found the balance?
Well, I have worked out a plan, right? And my plan is having some of my guys, right, to be on the ground for me when I'm actually doing the division's work. For example, my brother, right, I give him a transport to drive around, take the issues from the persons, and then I will deal with it from there. But every Thursday from 3 p.m. until I just be in my constituency office where I see everybody who wants to come to see me. Not only persons within my electoral district, the persons within Tobago actually comes there to meet me. And then on Saturdays, that is my roving day, right, where I take 2-3 other guys or some of the girls from my employees from the constituency office, and we drive around the electoral district and we meet the people and them who do have an opportunity to come to my office. Right? So I do that every Saturday.
I was just about to touch on that. So you have taken the initiative to actually go and meet the people instead of expecting them to come to you. Does that come from an understanding of the situation that they're facing? Why did you feel the need to go to them?
Okay, well, sometimes based on the information I receive from my team, right, some of the persons may not be able to come to my office, right? So if I come into office today and I get information that a person living in Spring Garden who is unable to reach me, I will reach out to them on a Saturdays, right? Because my electoral district comprises of part of Union, it's part of Lambo, Spring Garden, Orange Hill, Signal Hill, Patience Hill. Right, so most persons living within Patience Hill, Signal Hill, does more come to the office. But persons living the outside, right, I more go to them on a Saturdays, right?
Okay, so guys, you heard it here. If you live within the electoral district and you are unable to actually go to his office, you can call, I'm guessing.
Yes, feel free to call me or call the office anytime.
Okay, and what is the office number so that people can call and maybe get a visit for you to come and see their situation, see what it is that they're dealing with? Because some people might be able to speak about it over the phone, whatever the issue is, but there are others who might want you to physically come and see. So what is the number for them to call?
You can call 710-9475 and you'll get all information you need. Or call 758-4169 also. Right?
Yeah, excellent. Now, in coming into office, all the candidates had a 100-day plan. You guys had a 100-day plan. So, of your 100-day plans, how much of those plans were you able to execute and how much were you unable to execute?
Within my constituency, right, at this point in time, it is very challenging, right, because based on information received from my good co-worker or member of my team, Mr. Trevor James, I wanted to get some of the road patch, but everything takes time, right? So I'm awaiting, but I got some of the work done so far. Some of the patching of the road, some of the major holes, we're going to patch up already, right? Also, the lighting of Patience Hill Field. Well, I'm in constant communication with Mr. Wayne Clark, who is the Assistant Secretary, and he's for Community Development and Sports, and he's the one who actually oversees sports. And information is that work on the lights and Patience Field is going to start very soon, right? Yes. But I believe approval was already granted for the light to start the commencement of that project.
When Mr. Clark was here speaking with me on Tuesday, he also indicated such.
Yes, and he's also a hard-working guy, yeah?
Okay. Yes. My question to you is, do you tend to feel pressure from your community to execute some of these things that you had promised during the campaign? You expressed that these things take time and it's a matter of limited resources. Have you been facing that issue with members of your constituency?
Well, most of the issue that I've been facing from my constituency right now, members of my electoral district, is employment from the youth, right? But I have a plan for that, right? Most of the youths now asking for an early morning job, and I'm trying to get them away from that early morning job, right? Some of them I was able to get jobs for some, not all, and then there was some that I was able to assist in going to learn trade. Right, for example, cabinet making. I get two youths going in to do cabinet making. I have two of them on a construction site. I was able to get one and two of them in the hotel industry, you know. So that's one of the most challenging things, employment for the youths. But the planning going forward is having programs to having these youths and them trained to be self-sustained, especially learn a trade, you know, masonry, carpentry, plumbing, what have you, or even disc jockeying, because most of the youth now enjoy that.
I heard Assemblyman Terence Baines spoke extensively about that as well during his Mandate Monday presentation, and he would have also spoken about the fact that that old MIC building they want to transform into one of those technical vocational training centers. And is that's in your area as well?
Yes, fortunate for me that is located in Patience Hill. And Secretary Terence Baines and Bishop Baines also, we do have regular conversations on that, and that building is supposed to be up and running in short order also.
Okay.
Right? So yes,
are you planning to integrate the two, or is it two separate things?
No, it's two separate things.
Okay.
Two separate things, right? Because there are seasoned tradesmen in my area that are willing to come out and assist some of the youths in learning a trade. Right, I've already got certain persons already on standby, just waiting to roll out the program, right, which will be very soon.
Excellent. Guys, you heard it here. This is some of the work that Assemblyman Tate has been doing in his community, and we will continue with this conversation and more about what's happening, you know, under his banner of Fisheries when we come back right after the break. So, guys, stay tuned.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. This morning I am Chanel Felix and I am here with Mr. Nigel Tate, who is the Assemblyman for Signal Hill Patience Hill, as well as the Assistant Secretary for Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development. Now this morning, for the series that we have been continuing beneath the surface, we have been asking a number of questions regarding who is Nigel Tate and what he has been doing in his community. He said in before we left for the break that there are a number of initiatives that he has planned to do in his area, such as, you know, the lighting of that field there in Signal Hill, some road patching works and stuff that are on the way. So these are not things that have been completed yet, but these are stuff that are on the way. But what has been done already that you can talk about?
Okay. What I could honestly say is that I have been reaching out to my people, right? Some of the needy people in terms of food, right? Every month, I take money, and also from kudos to my staff also in the office. We patch up whatever we could put money we can get, and we create hampers and we serve to the needy persons within my community, right? And that's an ongoing process that I've been doing. I must say kudos to some of the persons living within my electoral district who have contribute, right, to make this actual event happen every month.
Okay.
So basically every month.
Okay, so is it that you have a fund that people can contribute to in order to assist with helping other community members in need?
No, it's not a fund.
Okay.
It's just an understanding, right, where persons will come to the office, which is located in Signal Hill, and if they want to contribute a bag of rice or some flour or whatsoever, we accept it, and then we put together a hamper, and then the names that we received from doing our drive around on our roving day, or who come to the office and seek for assistance, we kind of divide whatever we get equally, and whatever money we take and help purchase more, and we distribute accordingly.
Okay.
Right, so that is one of my main achievements so far.
Okay.
And still ongoing.
Excellent. Is there any other initiatives that you would like to speak about that you are currently working on within the district?
Yes. There's a bridge at Spring Garden, right? I'm having conversations also with the Secretary for Works, Mr. James, about having some work done on that bridge, because that bridge is one that leads to right back to the hospital. It's what we call shortcut. It's a shortcut route sometimes people use. So yes, I'm in conversation and I would like to have that done also.
Okay, within this first term or within the next 2 years? What is the timeline you're looking at for the deliverable?
As I said before, I'm in conversation with Mr. James. He's in charge of works, right? So I cannot say when or give it a timeline, but the conversation will continue with Mr. James.
Excellent.
The Secretary for Works.
Excellent. And you would have said that a lot of people are calling, expressing their issues. You guys go out, they come to you in the office. What are some of the common issues outside of that employment problem that you spoke about earlier? What's one of those common issues that continue to come to your office that the people in your electoral district is facing?
Well, at present, I know a long time people say when it rains, it pours. But that statement had a change now for Tobago. Now we have to say when it rains, it floods. Because in Signal Hill, I'm experiencing a lot of floods, right? And that is one issue that is drawing my attention every time the rain falls, right? So here I am, I take my team, and we actually go out sometime in the rain to help remove debris, to assist persons who are being flooded at the point in time, right? So that is very challenging. Oh, yes, very, very challenging for me. There's some of my team there, my brother is, so, you know, very challenging. That flooding right now, because due to climate change, is something that not only affecting Tobago, also Trinidad and certain other parts of the world, right? That the climate change now, it is different from how it was. Okay. So that is why I'm saying we have to change this statement by saying when it rains, it pours. We have to say that when it rains, it floods.
I mean, and we just saw some footage there. I believe that was pulled from your Facebook page of you getting down into a drain and clearing a drain. I guess that speaks volume to the type of service that you are offering to your community.
Yes,
so talk to us about, you know, why you have seen the need to actually get down and get dirty as opposed to getting the relevant individuals to do it.
Let me tell you something about Nigel Tate. I am grounded. I'm staying on the ground with my people. If they ask me for help, I go and I assist them as much as I can. You have a house to build, you have some concrete to mix, you have some gravel to tote, you have whatsoever you have, and I get my team together and we go and we are some doing, right? And I believe that I will continue doing it once God grant me health and strength, right? And I know for sure my boys will stay with me, and it's just something that I love doing. I enjoy helping people. That's just me.
Excellent. And we want to shift the conversation a little bit and go over to some of the work that you have been doing in fishery. Now, there was a big commendation that came from your line secretary, Natasha Charles Panton, during the mandate Monday, and she would have applauded most of the efforts that you and your team would have done in regards to fishery. Tell us a little bit more about what is happening there.
Okay, but before I start, let me just say I have a very good secretary, excellent secretary, Ms. Natasha Charles Panton, right? And I follow her lead, right? She's the one who is actually steering the division in the right division right now, the right direction right now. She's an excellent worker, and when I'm not sure about anything, I go to her for advice, right? So she is more experienced in that field.
Yes, but she spoke more to what you guys were doing with the fishing vessels. She spoke about some of the training. So I would like for you to kind of tell the people some of the
work at present, the capital of Paradise is working right now, where it's bringing in a lot of revenue to the country, where we sell tuna to the United States. And then we have the bycatch being sold to our local entrepreneurs, and then we have assistance also given to the school feeding program, right? We have that with the capital, with the capital of Paradise going right now. Well, we also have some of the associations. Well, basically ADFA, right? That is all Tobago Fisher Folk. Them conduct some of the training for fish seine mending. We also have a training program took place recently to training fishermen how to operate the high frequency radio. And then we have Titan, the sea school, which training for safety at sea is conducted by Mr. Ricardo Alfred. which is a program that I myself went and took in some of the courses, and which was very, very, very knowledgeable also. And I will advise all fishermen at this point in time to go and get that training, because we don't want no life to be lost at sea at this time, especially with the change in the weather pattern, right? I will advise all fisher folk in Tobago, go and do that training. Safety at sea.
Safety at sea.
Yeah.
And how can they get involved in the program? How can they register for that program?
Okay, Ricardo Alfred, he's the chairman for TATCO at this point in time. You can go and seek information down by NIPDEC, or you could come to the division at Food Security, down at located at Mill Serve Complex, Shervan Road. You could come there and seek get further information as to how or when again we have in training. But the associations itself, we are in constant connection with them. Right, so they will have information, and so we'll pass it on accordingly as to when again training will be for safety at sea.
Okay, and you guys gave away 20 checks for boat subsidies. How much was the check, and what was the criteria to get that check?
We give out, well, actually it was 20-something checks, but some of the persons did not turn up and they didn't question. So I think it was about 15 we gave out around that time. I can't remember offhand, but yes, we did that.
Okay. What was the amount of the check?
The amount I think was about I think it was 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, I'm not too sure.
Okay, what was the criteria to get that check?
Those are persons who have registered fishing vessel. They must get vessel registered. The purchase of vessel, they're getting back a small rebate.
Okay, and what would you say to the fisher folk that would say something like, we never heard about that, we never knew that check was being distributed, or we didn't know that that was happening? So what do you have to say to that?
Well, what I will honestly tell all fisher folk right now, go and get your vessel registered with the division, right? You buy a new engine or whatever, go and get it registered with the division. The Division of Marine Resources and Fisheries, we are open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You all come, once you purchase a vessel, come and get your vessel registered.
Okay, excellent. And as we're talking about the boats and the vessels, the tour boats also play a huge role in the marine life out there. And we have those boats going out at the Nylon Pool every day. But specifically on the weekends, we have the boats kind of turning into party boats. What has your division been doing to work in collaboration with the tour operators out there on Nylon Pool to ensure that they are maintaining the environment out there, the marine environment out there?
Okay. When I first got into office, that was in December, right? That was one thing that challenged me. Right, my first challenge that I faced, because we just was coming out of the pandemic. Right, however, the tour boats and them was not going out on tour at that point in time, right, because the beaches were closed. However, when everything opened back, that is when I started to face plenty challenges and plenty phone calls that coming from the tour operators, and no man's land, where most of the activities take place, was in a total mess. Right, so my first job I did with some of the stakeholders of that marine park was to get no man's land clean up, which I myself also went and assisted, right, along with other persons from the division, went and assisted in getting no man's land clean up, right. But I will send a message to persons who want to venture into the marine park. The marine park is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is the time for any vessel to be in the marine park. Anything beyond that is only to do transit, to pass through. Partying on the marine park after 5 p.m. is illegal. Right? However, you talk about weekend activities. Right? The division is in constant communication with members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service along with the Coast Guard to assist us in any illegal activities taking place out of the scheduled timing for the marine park to be open.
Wow, and I am convinced that there are a number of Tobagonians who are now finding out for the first time that it is illegal to be out in the marine park. A number of Tobagonians who themselves may have been out there, you know, partying on a Saturday evening, on a Sunday evening, out at Nyland Pool. But we have to be honest in stating that it also contributes to the tourism product and the Tobago experience. So is there a way that a balance could be striked, you know, with the tour operators for the activities that happen in the nighttime? Should there be a designated area? What could be done?
No, that cannot happen because the marine park is a preserved area, right? Where we have turtle nesting, right? We have certain type of fish that's coming to lay eggs and things. It's an area we cannot really say well to open up after a certain hour, because these are the times these animals come to actually you know, sleep, you know, they do the nesting and things, and with the noise and the pollution that does take place there, right? We have to say no to that.
Okay, so is there a recommended area then for the boat tour operators to have their night parties? Should we designate an area to allow for such?
Well, once it's not within the marine park,
yes,
I don't have a problem having a conversation with tourism or whosoever, but not within the designated time period. Anything beyond that, no, it cannot be in the marine park at that point in time.
Okay.
Not supposed to be in the marine park at
Does
that time.
that include the shoreline there at No Man's Land?
Well, the noise, it will affect the birds and other animals that are sleeping within that area at that point in time. So it will affect them.
Okay. Now I have seen kind of like bonfires, nighttime picnics, and you know, little romantic getaway setups that have been done down there at Nyland Pool, well, not Nyland Pool, sorry, No Man's Land on the shoreline there. It looked great. It looked like an excellent experience, to be honest. It looked like a great tourist attraction. How do we strike the balance between wanting to offer such an international tourism experience and preserving the environment?
Well, for me, it have no balance there. Anything based on my training, once it's against the law, it's against the law. Just stay within the perimeters of the law, right? And that is my advice in going forward.
Excellent.
Right?
And we see that the Buku shoreline is being constantly developed. More activities happening down at the Buku beach facility. What is being done by your division to kind of streamline what is happening there? Because that is also connecting to the Buku Reef Marine Park. So what is being done to stream? Because we see vendors coming there, we have vending happening on the shoreline there as well. A lot of economic activity starting to take place at that Buku beach facility. I am not sure if that's a tourism conversation, but I know you are also responsible for the environment. So tell us a little bit about what is happening there and what your division is doing in that area.
Well, to be honest, that question is really for tourism to answer, but my division have patrol vessels, and we have officers there, so we do constant patrol within the Buku area. And also Mr. Sonny Craig, assemblyman for that area, we also are in constant communication also in terms of how to develop that area where we've seen persons are now setting up all kind of
exactly. It looks like shabby structures on the beach.
Buildings that is not deserved to be in that area, right?
Excellent.
But we are in communication now where we can construct something proper that the tourists themselves could like, you know.
So
the communication is taking place with Assemblyman Sonny Craig at this point in time, yes.
So are you saying to me that there is a plan or a conversation happening to streamline some of the economic activities that are happening there at the Buku beachfront?
Not only Buku alone, but also for Pigeon Point also.
Okay.
Right? Yes, communications is taking place at this point in time. Conversations are happening right now.
In that conversation, what is the difference between what we are going to be offering in Buku versus what we are offering in Pigeon Point? Can you tell us anything about that?
Well, different areas, right? Pigeon Point and Boko is two different persons. We already deal with Assemblyman Joel Sampson. He's a person just like me on the ground too, right? He also wants to construct some buildings leading up to Pigeon Point. We are also seeing persons building all kind of things. I don't know what to say, but but we still want to help the people on them still, right? It's not to say that we're going to put nobody on the breadline, right? So conversations continuing to try to assist these people by constructing proper buildings, right? Eye-catching buildings for our tourists.
Yeah.
And the same thing, that the conversation for that area, Pigeon Point area,
yeah.
I believe that it could be held within the Boko area also.
Okay.
I'd say just a matter of just moving the idea from here to there and just, pulling it together.
So sort of a uniform look. So the same type of look you get from that.
Well, basically yes, but it all depends on the assemblyman for the areas.
Okay,
there, right?
and their idea what they want to do.
That's right.
Excellent. Guys, so you heard a lot about some of what has been happening in regards to the marine park out there and some of the boat vessels. One of the areas of contention was the fishing facilities in Tobago. A number of fishing facilities needed, called for upgrades. The fishermen continue to clamor for those upgrades. So tell us about a number of upgrades that were done since you got in and some that are still outstanding.
I'm so glad that you asked this question, because what I have inherited is basically all the fishing facilities throughout the island is in a dilapidated condition. When I say dilapidated, I mean some of the fishermen have to go on the outside to ply the trade, right? And that is what I've inherited. However, in going forward, right, we have plans to do some development on some of the fishing facilities. For example, Roxborough, Argyle, Mount Irvin, Lambeau, King Peter's Bay, right, Culloden. Right? There's a list of them. Okay. Let's name a few. But we do have intention to have some of these fish facilities upgraded.
So you have done the site visits, you have communicated
site
with
visits were done since I get into office. I've been doing site visits.
So which fishing facilities have been upgraded so far?
Well, we have the Castara facility where we recently named it Mr. Manswell Fish Facility. We did some work on that. We did some minor work at Pigeon Point Fish Facilities so far. We did some minor work at Corlan, nothing to talk about, small thing. Corlan is also on the list to do some work on. Right? We're having a discussion right now to do some changes with Corlan Fish Facility. Right? And well, we have some field officers outside there too who also could assisting me too, in making sure that these fish facilities remain or uplift the standard, so to speak,
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so is there a timeline that you're looking at to really get some of these upgrades done?
I can't give you a finish time, but I can tell you that we are about to start these upgrading very soon. Right? Okay. The discussion was already held and everything is in place for the operations to start.
Okay.
Right?
I'm guessing allocations were already made toward that.
Yes. Everything is improved. Everything is in place at this
So
point.
we do not have a financial issue where that is concerned?
Well, there are plenty of work to be done in the division. So my request was in, and my secretary, which is Ms. Natisha Charles Pantin, we are working on getting some of these fish facilities up and running.
All right. And I'm guessing what I was looking to hear is whether or not the finances has already been allocated towards the upgrades of these facilities.
Some of the we received some allocations already, right? And I will leave it at that. We received some of the allocations already.
And moving forward, because you met these fishing facilities in such a dilapidated state, what is the current management and maintenance strategy, and how is that going to change to avoid us getting back into a position like this in the future?
Okay, well, the Project Implementation Unit, PIU, right? So I'm working in collaboration with them at this point in time in having some of these facilities work to start on them. Right? What can be done in-house with the PIU unit will be done in-house for the proper maintenance of these fish facilities. So the communication with PIU and myself, very excellent at this time.
Okay, so is it that internal staff would be responsible for the management and the maintenance going in and making sure that
Yes,
the facilities are up to...
Maintenance part, yes.
So what happens now? Explain to me how it's maintained now. How is it managed now?
Well, we have workers at all fish facilities that does do cleaning, basic cleaning, but the actual work, like if a tile got broken or a door needs to be replaced or part of the ceiling fall or something like that, these work must be done by the PIU unit, the Project Implementation Unit. That's the unit that is responsible for the building itself upkeeping. But in terms of the sanitation or cleaning with it, yes, we have workers at all stations doing that.
All right. So is there like a operations manager to every facility?
Yes, yes.
Or a facilities manager
yes,
there?
Yes, we have, well, cordon off, we have persons responsible for certain areas, right? Like, for example, we have from Crown Point to Scarborough, then we have Scarborough to Roxborough come back around to Castor.
Well, my question is, if we do have facilities managers for these projects, why has it gotten to this place?
Now, that is a question I cannot answer. I was not part of the team back then. So what I inherited, I can't answer what used to take place. What I can answer is going forward, what my intention to do, and that is to upgrade these fish facilities for the comfort of the fisher folk and for the users of the fishing facilities.
Yeah, but it's one thing to upgrade the facilities, but if we don't have the adequate maintenance being done and facilities managers that are capable of managing facilities, then we end up back in the same position.
I'm also glad you said that too, right? One of my recommendations is for us to have something we call a handyman, right, be placed by most of these fish facilities where they could assist in the small projects that could help fix a doorknob or could help fix a door, or the building want to be painted over or something. So that is part of my my plan or my recommendation in going forward to upkeep these buildings after they have been reconfigured.
During the election campaign, you're now Chief Secretary. He spoke extensively about rescue missions and the fact that there has been a number of issues when fishermen are experiencing issues at sea and they have to call the Coast Guard. Sometimes there's no vessel. Sometimes other issues are preventing them from getting that, whether it's fuel or any rescue efforts within the necessary time period. What are you and the division doing at this point in time to really action some of those promises that were made by the Chief Secretary?
Well, search and rescue is really done by the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, right? In our division, we have a patrol vessel, right? We do respond to calls at times if based on the nature of the call, and if we could go, we will go. Right, because sometimes the weather may not be in favor for our vessel to go out there. And then we also have persons trained in the high frequency radio program. So if a fisherman is out there and in distress, they can also call for assistance, right?
Yes, and I know Chief Secretary Farley, he spoke about having their own independent rescue sites set up, one in Charlottesville, one on the north side. What is happening with that conversation? Is it still a thing?
Well, I will leave that conversation for the Chief Secretary to answer at this time. Right?
No problem. Well, guys, you heard it here at Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. And this morning I'm chatting with Assemblyman Nigel Tate. And we'll be back after the break to speak more about what's happening on the political front. Guys, stay tuned.
The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection is moving to better serve you. Turn left onto Glen Road. Another left onto Montessori Drive. Welcome to the new location of the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if you're nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil will always be here for you.
Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Excuse me, Mr. Man. Playground rhymes. That's why I'm bringing back the playground.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. I am Chanel Felix, and we are continuing Beneath the Surface, our series where we go beneath the surface and ask those questions that you guys really want to know from your representatives. Guys, don't be afraid to ask your questions in the comments. You know, Mr. Tate, he wants to know what the people are saying. So guys, be sure to put your comments, ask your questions. Before we left, we spoke about some of the issues surrounding fishing facilities in Tobago, what's happening with the fishermen. What is the overall strategy moving forward to really propel fisheries in Tobago?
Well, constant communication with the fishing associations, it will help alleviate most of the problems that is taking place right now within the fishing industry. Right, keeping them up to speed with what it is really taking place within the division of marine resources and fisheries. Right?
Okay, excellent. Where international relations are concerned, you were speaking about the fact that we already have that export relationship with the
Union of Revenue to the country. Right, so the most I could say on that is if we could have another fleet, another ship on the fleet, it would be excellent for Tobago. Right?
Great. And you are that guy that defeated the political leader of the PNM Tobago Council. How was that for you? Tell the people a bit about that.
Well, it was a great feeling for me, right? It was a great feeling for me, and I know that God guided me through that entire process, right? And He led me to victory. So all the kudos goes to the Heavenly Father.
Now that must have been difficult for you because you went up against a very strong opponent, right? But now your opponent is suing your current Chief Secretary. How do you feel about that regarding the zipline project?
Okay, I will give you an honest answer on that. That is a matter that is before the court of law, and I will not comment on that, right? That is for that decision is to be made by the court of law. That's a legal issue, and I will not comment on that.
Okay, fair enough. On the ground in your community, you often call yourself man from your eye. You're on the ground, you said, you know. How are the people in your constituency dealing with this internal rivalry, division, you know, spat that's happening between your political leader and your Chief Secretary?
Well, my support is my support, right? I am focused on serving the persons within my electoral district as well as Tobago. I'm also focusing on working with the members of the executive, and my aim really and truth is to deliver to my people, right? And I'm going to stay on the ground with my people, not only within my electoral district, but within Tobago. And I'm going to continue working hard with the present executive.
So how does that then affect, you know, that political connection that was drawn with the people? Are the people still supporting the PDP, or are you saying that the people are for Nigel Tate, and wherever Nigel Tate goes, the people will go?
What I'm saying, the persons within my electoral district supports me, right? I cannot say anything on the outside. So I want to remain focused on delivering to my people within my electoral district and Tobago on a whole. Right?
Okay. But you bought into the PDP vision, right? That is what you came into the political arena in Tobago with. How has that affected you personally and your association to the party?
Well, it didn't really affect me much, you know. I just wanted to be part of that team. The vision that the PDP had, the mandate that they had, I just wanted to be part of the team. And so far, I believe that we are doing our best at this point in time. I know things may not be the way how some of us may want it to be, but I believe that we are all trying our best, right?
Do you think that Mr. Duke's actions have affected Tobagonians' confidence in the PDP?
I don't want to comment on any issue regarding Mr. Duke at this time. I want to refrain from having any conversation about Mr. Duke. He's a political leader of the party, and I don't want to have any comment about Mr. Duke.
Fair enough. Mr. Tate, we thank you so much for coming on and discussing with us this morning. And we don't want to have any conversations with you that you don't want to have. So we want to continue by allowing you to just thank the people or have the opportunity to indicate some of the people that would have played an instrumental role for you in this journey. Yeah, before we leave, so I'll give you that opportunity.
Okay, well, first I'm going to thank persons of Tobago, right? Persons within my electoral district of Signal Hill, Patience Hill. Thank you very much for putting me in this position. I have a nice crew working at my constituency office. My family, of course, my loving brother, my neighbors. And I must say kudos to the executive of the TH at this point in time. We have an excellent communication. And my secretary, Mr. Teacher Charles Panton, I want to say thank you so much for guiding me so far. And not leave out the Almighty Father, Heavenly Father, thank you, God, for bringing me here today. And I want you to continue to keep me grounded and keep me focused on delivering to the people of my electoral district and Tobago.
Excellent. And Mr. Tate, I look forward to seeing you more on the ground. Not necessarily in the drains, cleaning them, but we look forward to seeing you continuing to be among the people in the electoral district. We see you here. Well, what was this? Tell us a little bit about what was happening here.
Oh, this was Signal Hill Police Youth Club. They were doing a little cleanup drive by one of the centers in Signal Hill. And they reached out to me the day before, said that they wanted some assistance to clean up the area. So I was about 6, 7 in the morning, when most of y'all was basically sleeping Saturday morning, you know, after Friday, a whole week work. I get up early and went and assisted, took up the weed whacker and started work. That's just me, you know.
Excellent,
That's just me, yeah.
And guys, thank you so much for viewing. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your shares, your comments, and your support for Beneath the Surface. We are going to continue with these conversations and more, so stay tuned. Tomorrow, Candace Jackson is going to be interviewing Bishop Assemblyman Terrence Baines. And we look forward to that as well. So stay tuned. Even next week on Monday, we have Ian Pollard also being interviewed by Candace Jackson. So make sure to share, tell somebody, and be a part of the conversation. This is where you have the opportunity to ask those hard questions and get the answers from your representatives. This morning we had an excellent conversation, and I just want to thank you and your entire team for ensuring that you continue to get the job done, and you were here this morning ready to go, and we appreciate that. So thank you. Tobago, the wider viewing audience, we thank you for being a part of this Beneath the Surface conversation, and we look forward to having you for all other conversations that we're going to have here on Good Morning Tobago. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.